degrees Celsius in several areas. This comes amid Botswana across the country having reported midday temperatures reaching as high as 42 degrees Celsius. According to the forecast, Gaborone, Maung, Kasane, Francistown and Selebepikwe will experience partly cloudy and very hot conditions, while Hansi may see isolated thunder showers. Tsabong is expected to remain fair and hot. The department cautioned the public to take necessary precautions to avoid heat-related health risks, as temperatures are projected to range between 36 degrees Celsius and 38 degrees Celsius across much of the country. Forecast maximum temperatures include 38 degrees Celsius in Maung and Kasane, 37 degrees Celsius in Gaborone, Francistown, Selebepikwe and Hansi, and 34 degrees Celsius in Tsabong. To move over to international news, a new report warns that despite record gains in renewable energy last year, the world remains off track to meet the 2030 target of tripling capacity. Released by the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, the COP30 Brazilian presidency, and the Global Renewables Alliance, GRA. The report shows global renewable additions hit 582 gigawatts in 2024, yet annual installations must rise to 1,122 gigawatts to meet the COP28 goal of 11.2 terawatts by 2030. Energy efficiency progress also lags, improving just 1% last year, far below the 4% annual rate needed to stay within the 1.5 centigrade limit. The report urges governments to raise national targets, boost clean energy investment to $1.4 trillion annually, and modernize grids and supply chains to support growth. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the clean energy transition is unstoppable, but warned the window to limit warming is rapidly closing. IRENA Director General Francisco Lacamera called for greater ambition and faster action ahead of COP30 in Brazil. Ahead of World Menopause Day on the 18th of October, U.S. hormone specialist Dr. Janet Gray is urging women to recognize the early warning signs of menopause and seek timely medical support to avoid long-term health risks. Dr. Gray, an internal medicine physician and author of The Truth About Sex Hormones, warns that hormone imbalance and deficiency are a silent epidemic, leaving millions untreated and at risk of fatigue, weight gain, poor sleep, and even heart disease or dementia. She outlined 10 critical menopause indicators, including irregular periods for 90 days, night sweats, brain fog, disrupted sleep between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., joint pain, mood swings, bladder issues, skin and hair changes, abdominal weight gain, and early onset symptoms from age 45. Dr. Gray advises women experiencing these changes to consult their doctors and test hormone levels early, noting that hormone replacement therapy can improve sleep, mood, cardiovascular health, libido, and bone strength. Founder and medical director of Perfect Balance Health in San Diego, United States, Dr. Gray has over 30 years' experience in integrative and hormone-based therapies aimed at improving wellness and longevity. GabzFM News, bringing the world closer to you.
GabzFM weather.
We now take a look at forecast weather conditions for today as supplied by Meteorological Services, starting out in Hansi, looking at Selebepikwe and surrounding regions. Partly cloudy and very hot with isolated thunder showers. Partly cloudy and very hot conditions are forecast for Gaborone, Maung, Francistown and surrounding regions. Tsabong and surrounding areas remain fair and hot. A warning issued by Meteorological Services reveals very hot temperatures of 30 36 to 38 degrees Celsius expected over most parts of the country. Therefore, the public is being advised to take necessary precautions to remain safe. We look at your maximum temperatures, expecting both Maui and Kasane to hit highs of 38 degrees Celsius, while Francistown, Selebe Pikwe, Gaborone, and Dintsi are all at 37 degrees Celsius. We do expect Tsabong rather to remain at a high of 34 degrees Celsius for the most part of the day. Do make sure to catch your business news update at 8:30 with your next and final full bulletin for the day, following at 9.
Online. Power to engage your world. GabzFM.
Neuza, kanto ano khona jana pala go litsa maisa sesole jana.
Ke DStv mmata wa me e re thusa gore mo lapeng Premier League for Daddy, Paw Patrol for Bambino, nna maitse wa ke itshwara ka Moja Love. My whole family is catered for ka combo ya nnete ya DStv Compact.
Mpitisa phone ke subscribe mma ke bokae.
Bona, pusha combo ya nnete ka DStv Compact package for only 450 pula per month. Sengwe le sengwe se mo teng. Visit www.dstv.com to subscribe.
Botswana ko gae re boditse bagodi ba Botswana ka dithuso tse ba di tlhokang go tswa ko Old Mutual.
Nna kana tota ke batla dithuso tsa insurance tse di ka godisang kgwebo ya.
Your business growth is our business, so we help you protect and grow your valuable assets. From tailored short-term insurance solutions, group life and funeral cover, to critical illness and credit cover, your business and employees are covered. Call Old Mutual on 399-5700 or visit oldmutual.co.bw today. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Selebe Pikwe. Power to engage your world is on 91.0 FM.
Right, GabzFM, a power to engage your world. We continue our conversation here, and I am looking at into the conversation we're having just from 7:40, where we're talking about the lab, which is a dialogue space bringing together policymakers, researchers, and of course democracy defenders from across Africa. Talking about or asking the question why citizens feel disconnected from democracy, and how we can rebuild the trust by improving the service delivery and of course the social injustice. So we're talking all things the lab, and if you just joined us, thank you so much, and welcome to the last hour of the Breakfast in HD with myself, Newaskilo Abobem, as we also are joined on the line by Tessa, who is the director of programs from Rivonia Circle, as well as Mrs. Galaletsang Dintsi, who is the programs manager at FES Botswana. Now, as we continue our conversation, maybe I'll start with you, Dintsi, in terms of government wise, or how you run the governance aspect of it. The big question then becomes, how can government, parliament, and oversight bodies, if we may call them, bodies be redesigned to truly represent what we say, for example, Barabatlopile members of parliament, truly represent what the people's daily social needs and economic needs could be met.
Yes, thank you for that. The thing with social justice, and I think I want to go back to it because I don't think we dealt with the social justice aspect of it. Social justice is, you go into a society, you understand that people living with disabilities. You understand that there are minority racial groups or ethnic groups. You see that there are women, the youth. All the statistics are very important actually for policy making. And it's not about the representatives, the parliament or the cabinet just worrying that these are these people. It's mechanisms to directly get to the heartbeat of that society to understand what do they need. So Tessa earlier talked of they should be the ones representing themselves, whether in parliament or in cabinet. We should see that, it should reflect. So that's how you redesign an institution. That cabinet itself should reflect all these groups, and I don't think I mentioned enough. All these groups, that this is this country, there's this ethnic groups. there's these people living with this kind of this. There's the youth, there's the women. So if it's not reflective at that institution that says they're making policies or that they're doing programs for us, then it can never be a policy making that corrects the ills of a society. Because social justice is about corrective policy. You correct so that we carry everybody along. We don't leave anyone along. So the first thing would be that we see that it reflects all these people. And for me, one thing that always I see almost everywhere, more especially in our African context, is the power of the executive, the presidency. If you have so much power in a few people, how reflective can that person be to everything that happens to society? I don't think there's anyone who has capacity to think for all of us. That I refuse. And so that is why we make people not account, because we give them so much power and we are comfortable with it. So when constitutions are redesigned, are reviewed, as most of us are now going through that after the first ones during independence, we must look at all these things already. That as a Botswana, how much control to what I get do I have? Most of us don't have. You go to a government office, they chase you away, you are gone forever, you cry, and you stay in the bed or you write it on Facebook. You see, that's our outlet. I don't think we understand our agency and how we can make them account. But it comes from being informed. Be not shy that this is our country. Be not thinking that people are doing us a favor by representing us. Actually, we are giving them so much more. So I don't think we have that to see that that these are it's not like the most clever people, the most it's not like that. I think that I need to diffuse to all our citizens across that we should not think of people that represent us if they're messianic. That is why we are failing. So we, in redesigning, we diffuse their power, we reduce the power of these institutions, and we decenter power from individuals. Power should not be in the individuals, people. Power should be in the community, because that's where you are able to know the interest, you are able to know what the people want. I don't understand that policy that doesn't take people along. Our civil society NGOs, I mean, you only consult them when is the UN saying that we need a report somewhere. It happens. You'll be embarrassed to see that people finish a policy, write it, and then they call NGOs to a room. That is not consulting. So that is where I'm just mentioning all these things that NGOs, researchers, academics should be working on. People that are advocates should be saying, but this is not enough. Maybe they should not even go to those rooms and say this is not enough. This is not us consulting. Yes.
Maybe, Tessa, on the backdrop of the example that was just given, one would really want to know, Africa has a deep pre-colonial governance tradition. We've given them so much power, like she just highlighted. Now, the big question is then, how can these experiences be blended with today's democratic institutions?
Well, I think that I'm not as much of a fan of looking back to look forward. In as much as there is concerned from history. I also think that we need to challenge ourselves to understand the things that are driving societies now, the things that are driving the way that we connect now in the social spaces, in economic spaces, in cultural spaces, and then bring that into the political space. And for me, there are some interesting examples on the continent, and also I think in different parts of the world, particularly in Latin America, where you're starting to look at what I call cultural evolution changes. So some Latin American examples of this, for example, is the idea of shared or joint candidacy. So in countries like Chile, in countries like Brazil, you're starting to see people using the idea of a seat in parliament or a seat in a legislature, not just belonging to one person. How do you share that power? How do you create collectives? And we know that in various forms of cultural life, we're working on collectives. We talk about cooperatives, for example, in business. So if we talk about cooperatives in business, why can't we talk about cooperatives in governance? If you look at the way in which social media works, and how social media has been infused. What are ways that we start using the psyche and the culture of social media as tools? I think that there's a way for us to look at the ways in which we are living our lives right now, and asking how do we then make those compatible with the democratic institutions that we've been bequeathed. Because the colonial disruption and what has come after it, that has made it really difficult for us to with certainty say this was what life was before that colonial disruption. It's hard to piece that out. But I think the bigger question is, what do we want life to be like outside of the colonial disruption and outside what to do and being measured against some criteria that we did not set for ourselves. We are not critical enough of the post-liberation moment as well. The post-liberation compromises that we made as African countries with the world, the ways in which structural adjustment, IFM borrowing, all of those things have come with victims and dictates from other parts of the world as to how democracy needs to be done. I think that we need to reflect a lot more on how courageous we can be in terms of look at our society, the way that we're living our lives outside of politics and putting that into the political and democratic space. And then also thinking about it at an economic level as well, because I think a lot of what is determining who gets political power is also being determined by who has and who can use economic power. So I think there are a lot of lessons in that. One of my favorite points, in fact, from the African continent is what I think of as financing politics and democracy differently. And I think one of the lessons we can learn in terms of that on the continent comes from things like borrowing and lending circles. We've learned how to use communal fundraising for everything except politics of the continent. So why can we do saving culture and circles and investment culture when it comes to business? But we have not figured out how to finance our own politics so that it is not the interest of people who are billionaires and millionaires that determine our political outcomes, but the interest of us as individual citizens.
Yes, Tessa, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. That is Tessa, the Director of Programs at Rivonia Circle, appointed to the National Planning Commission to advise the President on the implementation of the National Development Plan of South Africa in 2025. Quite an insightful one, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. And maybe as we wrap up our conversation from this side, a message has come through. Hi, Skilo and the ladies. I think it's bizarre that we only Western democracy is what we need instead of, codifying our indigenous ones like Mbomotelo, Mafisa, like you did say, and the likes. And this Western democracy leaves us delusional since we believe everything Western is good, which is, a very interesting point one must say in that regard. But maybe as we fast wrap our conversation on the side, Dintsi, maybe one would really want to know, how do platforms like Gaborone Democracy Lab help build new alliances and practical strategies for making a democracy for more people centered?
Okay. It's basically why we now are going to start having Gaborone Democracy Lab for each year. It's an African-wide lab where we want to redesign together as 21 plus countries that FES works very closely in. And it's a platform where we want to have all actors of democracy. We have politicians, political parties, we've got NGOs, civil society, we've got trade unions, and we've got media, we've got social movements. Because sometimes when we look at democracy as people that dialogue on that, whether it's a conference or workshops on democracy, we want to have one or two groups. So we thought we need to have all these actors together because, it's not only the politicians that are working in democracy. NGOs every day are, advocating for some policy change. Trade unions, the same thing. Some work, some labor-related policy. So we thought they should be in one room so that they work together. I mean, we are not at polar opposites. I don't think so. We are working towards the same ideal. So the platform would be just that, to have the opportunity for all these actors across our beautiful continent every year working on a different topic. This year, we are redesigning institutions on the backdrop of what is happening in Africa, all over the world when it comes to democracy. We all know the onslaught that is on democracy. So we must ask ourselves, how do we redesign? How do we correct that needs to be corrected? Because it's not a choice, it's our lives.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting time to be, alive if we're going to be practicing such conversations. And look, there's a lot. We always talk about how, we want to be a part of this, we want to be a part of this. When you're given the mic, it becomes something totally different. It's like there's that off button, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. And we fear this. But on the other side of this, I want us to wrap it up as to looking at what is it that would love to see as an outcome, because we're not just promoting the event. There's quite a lot that we are looking into. And remember, you too can be a part of this conversation that we're going to be running all the way until 9 o'clock here on GabzFM Power to Engage Your World with myself and Newa Skilo Abu. We are going for the business and news headlines and sports at the bottom of the hour. And then on the other side of this, we're going to be wrapping up the conversations. Good morning.
From time to time, remember that you are not alone on the road. There's someone in front of you, there's someone behind you. There are regulations, there are road signs. In some areas, we always appeal to the road users about they should play that part. Whatever they see, they can report to the nearest police station or the nearest DRTS office. I think we should join forces. Let's save our lives. We need each other.
Mid-morning delight with Swift and Ross, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Power to engage your world is on 96.0 FM.
So we agreed on a price for this in-drive ride up front. Yep. So it's locked in. It doesn't change. It stays the same. Even if it starts raining. Stays the same. Even if I eat this curried baloney kota. Will you give me a chip? Yeah. Stays the same.
Tebogo first. Your price, your ride with 25% off until the end of November. Download InDrive today and ride at your price. The InDrive online passenger transport aggregator is not a taxi service. More info at indrive.com.
Got a birthday, an anniversary, or just celebrating? Make any occasion sweeter with the Cake Man. From stunning custom cakes that wow, to delightful cupcakes bursting with flavor, we bake happiness daily. Choose from classic vanilla, rich chocolate, zesty lemon, or ask about our seasonal specials. Fresh ingredients baked with love just for you. Don't just celebrate, make it a sweet spot celebration. Call or WhatsApp the Cake Man at 72-116-385 or order online at cakeman.co.bw. That's the Cake Man, making life sweeter.
Sekakamwe. Power to engage your world is on 95.1 FM. Did we mention that we played the best music?
Love it when you call me back.
Hey, baby. Best. Best music. Played the best.
Is it my brother?
GabzFM.
Get it right. I always get it right. I know you get me. I know.
Well, we played the best. We play the best music. Sankoyo, yo. Power to engage your world is on 91.4 FM. Did we mention that we played the best music? Best. I don't know why. I can't get enough of you. Oh, no, man. Best music. Played the best. Well, we played the best. We play the best music. On air, online, power to engage your world. GabzFM. Did we mention that we played the best music? Best.
Never had nobody talk you through it like I'm talking through.
Best music. Played the best. Well, we played the best.
No matter what it is, no matter where you are, I'll be there.
We play the best music. Bringing the world closer to you. On air, online, on your mobile. This is GabzFM News.
A very good morning to you with GabzFM News headlines at 8:32. I am Deborah Mokoto. Government health emergency comes under fire amid drug shortages and perceived pension risks. And hormone expert urges early action as millions go untreated for menopause symptoms. Do catch details to these and more at the top of the hour.
GabzFM weather.
Look at forecast weather conditions for today. As supplied by meteorological services, we expect partly cloudy and very hot conditions with isolated thunder showers to persist over Dintsi, Selebe and surrounding regions, while Gaborone, Maun, Kasane, Francistown and surrounding areas are expected to be partly cloudy and very hot. Tsabong and surrounding regions are fair and hot. A warning issued by meteorological services, very hot temperatures of 36 to 38 degrees Celsius are expected over most parts of the country. Therefore, the public is being advised to take necessary precautions to remain safe. Looking at your maximum temperatures, we do expect both Maung and Kasane to reach ultimate highs of 38 degrees Celsius, while Francistown, Selebe, Gaborone and Dintsi all reach highs of 37 degrees Celsius. Sabong remains at 34 degrees Celsius. Your business news update follows up next.
GabzFM Business is brought to you by Muscom Maizaka. Muscom, #1 because of you.
Take a look at your local business news. Local private equity firm Africa Lighthouse Capital, which manages funds on behalf of pension funds, has defended its decision to buy a significant minority stake in microlender Bayport, Botswana, saying the firm's conservative credit standards make it a safer investment than most of its peers. Responding to GabzFM News, Africa Lighthouse CEO Bame Bule said due diligence showed Bayport lends well below below the market average for microfinance institutions, ensuring borrowers do not take on unaffordable levels of debt. While Bank of Botswana has repeatedly warned about a steady rise in household debt and shrinking savings, Pule noted that Bayport Botswana restricts lending to essential economic uses such as health, education, housing, and small business development. It has, he called, value-adding to Botswana's economy. A quick look at how the Pula is performing against major global currencies. We expect one British pound to currently be sitting at 18 Pula 66 Thebe. The euro stands at 16 Pula 20 Thebe, while the US dollar is going for 13 Pula 98 Thebe. The Chinese yuan stands at 1 Pula 95 Thebe. And finally, if you're traveling into South Africa anytime soon, 1 Pula will get you 124 cents. Do catch the next and final full bulletin for the morning at 9.
GabzFM Business was brought to you by Muscom Maizaga. Muscom, #1 because of you.
Stay in the game with GabzFM Sports Update, proudly sponsored by Betway. Yet way more, no persons under the age of 21. Bet responsibly.
Right, for your final sports update this morning on Breakfast in HD, we look at what's happening in the world of athletics, where the World Athletics have announced their nominees for the 2025 Women's and Men's Track Athlete of the Year Awards, celebrating some of the best performances from a thrilling season that peaked at World Championships in Tokyo. Now, there are 5 nominees in each category, and fans can now vote for their favorite on World Athletics social media platforms until the 19th of October 2025. We've got Franco Bol from the Netherlands, unbeaten 400-meter hurdle star and the double champion. Beatrice Chebet of Kenya, world champion in both the 5,000 and the 10,000 meter, plus the world record holder. Melissa Jefferson Wooden from USA, triple world champion in the 100 meter, the 200 meter, and the 4x100 meter relay. We've got Faith Kipingen of Kenya, the 1,500 meter champion and world record breaker. Sydney Lavron of the USA, world champion in the 400 meter and the 4x400 meter relay, and unbeaten all season. And then from the men's, as Ray Benjamin from the USA, the world 400 meter hurdles champion. Jimmy Gracia of France with the 10,000 meter world champion. Noah Lyles with the 200 meter world and the Diamond League champion, and Cordell Tensha with the world 110 meter hurdle champion, and Emmanuel Wanyonyi of Kenya, World Diamond League, and for the 800 meter champion. So we're going to be looking forward to the Field Athlete of the Year that will be revealed on the 20th of October, followed by the Out of Stadium Athlete of the Year on the 27th of this month. So be on the lookout for that one. And then lastly, England have booked their place at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and they've done it in style. The 3 Lions crushed Latvia with 5-0 on the Group K match, qualifying with 2 games to spare. It's another big night for their captain Harry Kane, who scored twice and broke 2 new national records. His first goal came just before halftime, followed by a cool penalty at a few minutes later, making him the player with the most multiple goals for the game. Anthony Gordon on the other side opened the scoring with a lovely strike from the left, where having the opponent's own goal in a late finish from Easy, who wrapped up with a 5-star win. Coach Thomas Tuchel's side seems to have found their rhythm, and fans who once complained about England's lack of goals now have plenty to cheer about. The 3 Lions are roaring again and have saying goes, it might just be coming home. We're continuing a Breakfast in HD on the other side of this one, where more sporting conversation will come a bit later on the Iconic, followed by the other sports update at 4:30 on the late lunch show. Good morning.
Stay in the game with GabzFM Sports Update, proudly sponsored by Betway. Yet way more, no persons under the age of 21. Bet responsibly.
GabzFM is committed to reporting news that is accurate, broadcast comment that is fair, and adhere to the highest standards of journalism. If you think we're not living up to this code, you can forward your complaint to the program's manager at Private Bag BO 319 Gaborone, or call us at 317-0905 or email info@gabzfm.co.bw or to the Botswana Communications Regulatory Authority, BOCRA, at Private Bag 00495 Gaborone, or call 395-7755. Dintsi, power to engage your world, is on 90.8 FM. Engage with us. WhatsApp us now on +267 395 6962. GabzFM.
Right, GabzFM, power to engage your world. Welcome back on the show as we continue conversations here, talking about the lab. This is a dialogue space bringing together policymakers, researchers, and democracy defenders from across Africa. And, there's a lot that we're looking into. And as we quickly wrap up the conversation in studio, I am with Galaletsang, Dintsi. But maybe a bit of a recap for somebody who's been interested in this conversation that we're having, and they're sitting there and they're asking, what is the lab?
Okay. The lab from laboratory. I mean, it's a working space. It's not even dialogue only. It's a working space. We've designed interactive methodologies so that we get this 50 plus people that are coming from all over the world to redesign together, to work together towards an outcome that would be happy at the end of it. So it's not like predetermined. So what we did is that we chose methods that will get people to interact, to work together. Like I said, these are policymakers. These are people that are in government right now from their different countries, politicians. Some are outside, but they are, working towards, working around democracy. We've got researchers from Afrobarometer to all other think tanks from Kenya, from Uganda. We've got from South Africa. We've got over 21 countries. We've got somebody from Asia. We've got MPs from Germany. We've got all these people that work closely on this subject. So we think we're going to get a good outcome from this interactive methodologies that we have designed.
And of course, you can engage even further offline by checking the social media pages as well as on X, which was formerly known as Twitter. I know that, people still say X.
Twitter.
Yes, Twitter. Let's not leave everybody behind in that regard. We've got Friedrich-Ebert. Yes. FES on Facebook and Afrobarometer on X, that is on Twitter, to get more on this conversation, because we're not just talking about the event itself, but we're also putting the brand of Gaborone Democracy Lab, to really look into this. And maybe Dintsi, now I've known about this, I'm intrigued by this conversation, and I'd love, to be a part of these conversations as they roll out. What can I then do as a GabzFM listener? What can I do as a playmaker in policy making, decision making, and many more other conversations? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? And the likes.
As an invitation, I think we have already sent out invitations to all these people that are coming from all these 21 countries. So as in setting for the 2-3 days in the lab, I mean, lab usually is, you need to select people. You can't get everyone, unfortunately. But we've got this forum, the Democracy Focus, every Wednesday till the end of the lab, where we'll come and give feedback. Also during the lab, the Democracy Focus will also have a future. But not only that, like you said, we're Afrobarometer is on X, we're on Facebook. Us also, we're on our website is very interactive. So as of now, for the outer public, that is only the mode that we can communicate with you.
What do you hope will come out of this dialogue? I'm quite interested in that regard.
Let's take it to the last democratic focus, the democracy focus on the last Wednesday, first Wednesday of November, where we'll come give feedback. We hope the methods that we have chosen would get us a good outcome. But let's see what the outcome is.
Any contact numbers, mobile, office line?
Office line.
And you too, at any time, please feel free to engage with us at GabzFM, because these are conversations that come your way every Wednesday from 7:40 on 39566962. If maybe you also want us to share their contacts after the studio, you can simply drop us a WhatsApp on +26739566962, and we will gladly share with you these numbers, these conversations, these links, and of course where you can find them on social medias, to mention but a few.
Our email, info.botswana@fes.de.
Info at
Botswana. No, info.botswana.
Info, okay.
Botswana at fes.de. And our cell number 78
okay
78579863.
78579863.
Yes.
And maybe as we wrap up our conversation this morning, your last words, maybe you can summarize even the conversation we've had today.
Yes. In summary, I mean, we've painted a picture from last week where democracy is at, not only in Africa, unfortunately, the whole world. And we see the onslaught, we see the backslide in the reversal of democracy, but we think there is a lot that can still be done. As a people, we never give up. Tessa earlier talked of when the UN was formed 80 years ago. It's because people saw a need. There was a crisis.
Yeah.
So this generation also have got a democratic crisis. It's because, as we said, are we delivering a state democratic institutions? So if they're not, and the research is there, is in plain black and white, that something needs to be done about institutions, let's redesign them together as different interest groups, as different actors, as government, as political parties, as NGOs, as trade unions, as academia, as research, because we are not enemies, right? This is our countries, this is our world, and we need to work together towards. We disagree so that we find a best solution. So forums such as ours, the lab, are just for that, to redesign together as different actors that have a stake in democracy.
Yeah, I'm going to try and break it for us to really understand it, because I've got something that I wrote here. So the lab is a high-level dialogue space bringing together policymakers, civil society leaders, researchers, and democracy defenders from across Africa and beyond. So it also seeks to explore why citizens feel increasingly disconnected from democracy, and how institutions can rebuild, trust by delivering on social justice and essential services, having their key focus on making democracy, this is a very important word, effective again, by improving service delivery and ensuring, it works for everybody from all backgrounds. And, it is in partnership with the Global Social Democratic Foundation that has been working for over 50 years in Botswana. That is the FES Botswana, as well as Africa's leading public opinion research network in democracy, governance, and as a society being the Afrobarometer. And this is a conversation that there's nothing that does not armor you, that does not have decisions. I always say to people, if you don't come to the table, you will be the menu.
Yeah. Definitely. I like that.
If you don't come to the table for these conversations, you will be the menu. We will decide for you. And tomorrow, like you're saying, you'll be a Facebook type board, typewriter warrior, and talking about how it is injustice for you for this to be going on. So if an opportunity like this comes through, the Cameroon Democracy Lab comes through, come be a part of it. Ensure that you become a part of this conversation. Every Wednesday we are here on a Breakfast in HD from 7:40 until 9 o'clock, as we bring you different conversations all the way until November to look more into more fairer, more transparent and inclusive institutions that can restore trust and legitimacy for African democracy. And today we did have the conversation with Galaletsang Dintsi, who is the programs manager at FES Botswana, bringing much conversation on professional and passionate advocacy for development. We also had the director of programs from Rivonia Circle, Tessa Domso, talking about more on these conversations as a director of programs at Rivonia, also working on the National Planning Commission to advise the president on the implementation of the National Development Plan for South Africa 2015. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We will meet again next week to further engage more on these conversations, and of course we will make sure that
Thank you very much for that, Newa, and your listeners.
Thank you so much. And that is just how we wrap up our conversation here. On the other side of this, I will be saying my goodbyes. Remember, it's October. Tara, Leba, Katloba.
Hey, it's your girl Nicole Martinez, and you are listening to GabzFM, power to engage your world.
All right, to the Alex Forbes annual golf day is happening on the 31st of October 2025. So get your clubs ready for an exciting day at the Stanbic Bank Gaborone Golf Club, packed with networking, fun and great golf. You can still get in the action with a standard hole for 10,000 pula, or go big with premium hole at 12,500 pula. All you need to do is reach out to Dintlelo Abby on 71665563 or email dabbym@alexforbes.com to secure your slot. See you at a tee of Alex Forbes.